How's it going, everyone? Powerful I am, 50 the Mystic. Today we're getting into another powerful scripture, getting into Genesis 32, verse 31. And as he passed over Penuel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh. It is rich with symbolic meaning, showing the transition from darkness to light, from struggle to transformation, and from the old self to the awakened self. When the verse says Jacob passed over Penuel, it symbolizes leaving the place of deep spiritual confrontation and stepping forward into the future shaped by revelation. Penuel, meaning the face of God, is the symbolic birthplace of Jacob's new identity. Passing over it represents moving beyond encounter into application. It is the shift from spiritual experience to lived reality. The phrase, the sun rose upon him, carries powerful allegorical significance. Sunrise represents new beginnings, enlightenment, clarity, hope, direction, and divine favor. Symbolic language, night represents struggle, confusion, shadow work, and inner wrestling. Dawn represents the breakthrough when it finally hits and arrives in your stratosphere. The rising sun shining upon Jacob symbolizes that light, truth, and purpose now rest upon his life. It marks the moment when the universe acknowledges his transformation. Jacob entered the night as one person and emerges into the morning as another. As Neville Goddard would say, hold the manifestation until the world has no choice but to reflect the manifestation itself. The line, and he halted upon his thigh, symbolizes the permanent mark left by transformation. His limp is not just an injury, it is an allegorical reminder that true transformation always leaves evidence. You do not walk the same after encountering your destiny. The limp symbolizes humility, memory, and spiritual authenticity. It shows that you can be blessed and still carry a scar. In fact, the scar becomes a sign of the blessing, the reminder of the struggle that shaped you. This verse teaches that every encounter with the divine results in a new walk, a new identity, a new light upon your path. The limp represents the cost of transformation, while the sunrise represents the reward. Together they show that true spiritual awakening is both beautiful and costly, and both aspects are sacred. Nothing comes without a cost. Everything has a cost to attach to it. To be mediocre has a cost attached to it. To be great has a cost attached to it. You just need to choose which heart you are honestly going with. Because this scripture reflects a profound internal shift within Jacob's psychological and physiological architecture. When the verse says he passed over Penuel, this mirrors the moment when a person moves from inner conflict to integration. Penuel represents the location inside the mind where deep emotional confrontation occurred. Passing over it symbolized the brain transitioning from crisis mode into a renewed state of clarity. The internal struggle has ended and the mind is reorganizing itself around new identity. The phrase, the sun rose upon him, mirrors the neurological process of illumination. When a person gains insights after intense emotional struggle, the brain experiences heightened clarity. This can feel like a sunrise inside the mind. During emotional breakthroughs, neural pathways reorganize, new connections form, and the prefrontal cortex gains strength and control. The rising sun symbolizes this internal illumination, a shift away from the darkness of limbic-driven emotional turmoil. Jacob is stepping into a state where consciousness becomes clearer and more aligned. The final detail, and he halted upon his thigh, mirrors the way deep emotional, spiritual events leave physiological imprints. Trauma, breakthroughs, and transformation often register in the body. So why your subconscious mind tends to have certain traumas embedded so deep within there that are literally driving your life because they've left imprints. Jacob's limp reflects somatic memory, the way the body carries the story of transformation. His hip injury symbolizes the dismantling of an old foundation that was within him. The brain and his body integrate this injury as a reminder of the identity shift that has taken place. His walk changes because his internal world has changed. This verse shows that transformation is not only emotional or spiritual, it is neurological, physiological, and behavioral. Jacob's new identity, Israel, is encoded in his mind, reflected in his body, and expressed in his walk. The sunrise marks internal clarity. The limp marks internal restructuring. Together they express a complete psychological rebirth. Because this reflects profound natural and cosmic principles that govern transformation itself, rebirth, and the rhythm of evolution. Think of a phoenix. Phoenix grows, and then eventually it catches fire, and then the rebirth happens. A lot of these things are made up by people, their faculties of their mind, but they have deep symbolic symbolism to a lot of things in life itself. When Jacob passes over Penuel, the place where he encountered the divine, it mirrors a fundamental cosmic law. After initiation, you must cross into a new phase. In nature, every transformative event ends with movement. After storm, the sky clears. After winter, spring arrives. After metamorphosis, the butterfly emerges. Jacob passing over Penuel symbolized the completion of a cycle and the beginning of another. The sun rose upon him, reflects the cosmic law of illumination. Darkness represents the necessary stage of struggle, uncertainty, shadow work, and internal confrontation. But cosmic law ensures that darkness is temporary. Every cycle leads to dawn. The sun rising upon Jacob symbolized that the universe now shines clarity, approval, and alignment upon his new identity. Sunrise in nature signals renewal, awakening, and the activation of life. Jacob is stepping into a new vibrational state where his purpose is now illuminated. The line in he halted upon his thigh reflects the law of transformational imprint. In nature, every force that reshapes something leaves a mark. Rivers carve canyons. Lightning imprints patterns in soil. Fire transforms landscapes into fertile ground. Jacob's limp represents the cosmic principle that transformation always has a cost. The wound becomes a signature of initiation. The limp becomes the reminder that evolution requires sacrifice of old structures. This verse shows the duality of growth, light and wound, transformation and scar, blessing and cost. Nature never elevates anything without altering it. Jacob's altered walk reflects the universal rule. What is awakened is never the same. This verse reveals that true elevation is recognized by two signs: light upon you and a changed walk. Because this contains one of the most practical, encouraging lessons for anyone going through deep personal transformation. When the verse says Jacob passed over Penuel, it teaches that after you wrestle with your inner battle, you must move forward. Many people remain stuck in the memory of their struggle, replaying the moment instead of stepping into the future shaped by you or by it in itself. Remember, even in the book of Isaiah, it says, forget the former things. Because if you dwell on the former things, you're not able to see the great things that are about to happen in your life coming forward. This verse teaches you to transition. You cannot stay where your battle happened. You must walk into your new phase with the insights you gained. The phrase, the sun rose upon him, offers a powerful reminder. No matter how dark your night was, the sun will rise again. Emotional and spiritual battles often make you feel like the night will last forever, but dawn always comes. This means that clarity will return, strength will return, and hope will return. The rising sun symbolizes a new chapter, new perspective, and renewed energy. It teaches patience, faith, and resilience during hard seasons. The line in he halted upon his thigh teaches one of the most honest truths about growth. Transformation leaves marks. You do not walk out of your struggles the same way you walked in. Your limp may symbolize a wound, a lesson, a reminder, or a shift in how you move through life. Instead of hiding these, this verse invites you to honor them. They are proof that you survived, that you grew, and that you encountered something greater than yourself. Your limp may look like new boundaries, new humility, new wisdom, or new strength. It is not shame It is evidence of evolution. Jacob's limp teaches that your scars are not signs of weakness, but signs of encounter, initiation, and divine transformation. You walk differently because you have become a whole new different person in itself. And I will be wrapping up this series of Jacob wrestles with God in the next scripture that we'll be covering. Then we'll be moving on to something else. I'm going to cover the 10 Commandments after I'm done with this. Cover it in a way I know people generally don't cover it in that manner. But it should be interesting. But anyway, preview for the last verse that we'll be covering in this segment. Genesis 32 verse 32. Therefore the children of Israel eat not of the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew that shrank. Until next time, family.